everybody, I have an exciting announcement. My new album, Just My Guitars Volume 2, is now available for download. I cover old and newer rock songs using only guitars and only the guitars I own. You can download individual songs or the whole album from Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, Deezer, and a few others that I can't think of at the moment. Links to those are in the description, so go check it out. And most of all, enjoy. This album has even more than Volume 1, so feel free to check them both out. And now, on to the video. Hi, I'm Irving. Welcome to Captain Marvel.
And now, back to Shazam!
The Burns Ranch has many modes of transportation, including a helicopter and a bicycle.
Sure's all done, Mom. Okay, Larry, you coming back for lunch? Yeah, and with any luck, I'll have some fresh fish. Well, just in case your luck doesn't hold out, I'll have some hot dogs on standby.
Mentor and Billy are just rolling into town. Mentor used to live here.
Oh, this place hasn't changed a bit since my younger days, really. Quiet, peaceful.
Yeah, but there's been one big change, hasn't there, Mentor?
What do you mean?
Dinosaurs are gone.
Oh,
Did you see that? Mentor's expression didn't say, "Hey, I'm not that old." It said, "How did you know that?" Exactly how old is Mentor? He suddenly realizes it was a joke. I have no idea what to make of that. They pull into a little park for lunch, except there's no food, and it's Billy's turn to go buy groceries. About that time, Fishing Boy comes along.
You're Fred Burns' kid, aren't you?
Yeah,
Well, listen, do me a favor, will you? Don't tell anybody you saw me here, okay?
but why?
Listen, you just do as I tell you. Keep quiet, all right?
A guy twice your age and size tells you that, and you discover an injured man where he just came from. I'd call that sufficiently intimidating. Mentor took a knock on the head and his wallet is gone. And he and Billy aren't as intimidating as the guy who just left.
Didn't you see anybody suspicious?
No,
what's your name, son?
Larry Burns.
Of the helicopter and bicycle Burnses.
Well, you know, we'd like to believe you, Larry. But you've got to admit it's awful strange you were standing so close and you didn't see anything.
Try to think back very carefully. See whether you remember any little thing that might help us.
I'm sorry, but I can't help you.
It's obvious he knows more than he's telling, but there's no way to get more out of him. Well, no legal way. Maybe the elders can help.
Billy, we can appreciate your concern over this unpleasant incident.
But as it must be with all things which concern you, you must translate your concern into fitting and proper action.
Like taking Mentor to a hospital and getting that head wound checked out, maybe?
Remember, Billy, the tiniest ball of snow, once it starts rolling downhill, can grow to become an avalanche. And so it is with problems that are ignored.
Consider carefully what we have said, Billy, and good luck.
Or maybe there'll be no help. You'd think I'd know that by now. While Billy and Mentor call the police to report the theft, Larry is finally caught up with his fishing buddies.
Well, you know who Ron Craig is? Ron Craig? Oh, yeah, you mean that great big guy? Yeah, well, I saw him rob a motorhome on the other side of the park. He conked a guy in the head and everything. Are you kidding? What'd you do? Well, nothing. He told me to keep quiet about it. I shouldn't even been telling you guys.
Ron Craig is the town's scary guy that all the kids like this are terrified of. Larry's thinking about calling the police, but his friends talk him out of it.
Hey, where are you going? Home. I don't feel much like fishing today. Aw, all right.
Today, we call that stalking, and it's illegal, especially stalking a minor. But even if there had been such a law at the time, first somebody has to catch him doing it. Billy and Mentor give their report to the police, then Billy decides he wants to find Larry and see what he really knows. Larry's on his way home.
Hi, kid.
Hi.
Those other kids in the park, did you tell them what you saw?
I didn't tell him anything.
I don't believe you.
Better watch out, kid. After the commercial break, I'm going to do some bad things to you.
said to those kids. Now. I'll see you later.
He speeds away and Larry starts writing again.
Hi, Larry. We were just on our way to see you.
Well, what for? I've already told you everything I know.
Well, I'll tell you what. We're already headed towards your house. Why don't you toss your bike in? We'll give you a lift.
That's okay. Well, maybe I will ride with you.
Scary Guy is still out there after all. They take him home and explain to his mother what happened and how Larry's involved. She says, we'll talk to him about it and see if we can find out what he knows. Larry is still too afraid of Craig to tell his parents and goes to his room to lie down. Craig, meanwhile, is stalking around the side of the house.
Hello.
Hi.
Ron Craig, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. I cut some wood for you once, didn't I?
Of course.
Right.
Can I help you with something?
I just wanted to see your boy for a minute.
Well, sure, come on, I'll get him for you.
Ask him why. What does a guy his age want with a boy your son's age?
Larry, Ron Craig is here to see you. I'm sure he'll be right out.
Right out of here, you mean? Larry's dad has been watching all this, though he didn't see Larry take off, and he decides to take an interest.
Do you know something we don't? Why'd Larry take off like that when he heard you wanted to talk to him?
I gotta get out of here.
Wait a minute.
You were the one that broke into that motorhome today, weren't you?
Who told you that?
It's pretty obvious now. And Larry saw you do it.
I gotta get away from here.
He's about to be even stupider than he already has been.
Let's go.
Wait a minute. What do you think you're doing?
I'm not gonna hurt you, Mr. Burns, but I gotta get out of here fast, and you're gonna help me.
Or what? What if he doesn't? You already said you're not going to hurt him, so why should he help you? I hope Ron Craig doesn't try to play poker. He drags Mr. Burns to the helicopter. Mrs. Burns goes inside, presumably to call the police. What's Larry doing?
Billy, Mr. Mentor,
Larry, what's wrong?
you gotta help me. Ron Craig's at my house, and I'm afraid for my parents.
Who's Ron Craig?
The guy that robbed you.
We better call the police.
Go ahead, Mentor. I'll contact Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, do you know him?
Yes, we see him from time to time.
They're really playing fast and loose with his secret identity lately. Two other people already know, Chad and Grandfather Adam. They have the Captain Marvel symbol on the motorhome. They tell people they know him. It's almost like they're daring people to guess which one of them is Captain Marvel in disguise. On the other hand, if they say they know how to contact him, it does help to explain why he just happens to be in the vicinity the same time they are. It doesn't explain why Billy is never around when Captain Marvel is, but nobody seems to have noticed that pattern yet. Maybe that's why they keep moving. Captain Marvel heads toward the Burns Ranch. Does he have any idea where he's going?
Captain Marvel, Ron Craig and my husband took off in the helicopter.
Which way?
Towards the mountains. I've already called the police.
That narrows it down to about 2/3 of the horizon, but it's enough for Captain Marvel.
There's my dad's copter, and Captain Marvel's bringing it down.
It's not as easy as it looks.
What's wrong? Take it up! Take it up!
Captain Marvel braces himself against empty air and wins the battle. Why is he still pulling it down? The bad guy jumped out, so Burns should be able to shut it down now, or Captain Marvel can let go. Either way, he's letting Ron Craig get away.
Get back in there. You all right?
Sure, fine.
Oh, right, there was a bad guy here, wasn't there? And why is Mentor leaving without me?
What's that?
I like how it threw everybody forward except Mentor. Good thing he wore his inertial dampers today. A police car arrives, Craig surrenders, crisis averted.
You know, Larry, this whole situation could have been avoided if you'd have reported what you saw to the proper authorities when it happened.
Yeah, I know that now. I was afraid to get involved. I guess I was really stupid.
No, it wasn't stupidity, Larry. You simply made a mistake. That's something we're all guilty of from time to time.
I like that they included that. How often do kids call each other stupid for making a mistake like that? It's got nothing to do with intelligence and everything to do with being a child who's still learning about the world around them.
I don't know if this means anything now, Larry, but I'm sorry all this happened. I never meant to hurt anybody. I just needed the money.
I think you and Larry both made the same mistake today, Craig. You both had a problem and neglected taking it to someone who could help you.
That's a good point. Craig went for the easy fix while Larry went for the duck and cover. If Craig had gone to Mentor and asked for help, he probably would have gotten it. Instead, he gets charges for robbery, assault, and kidnapping. If Larry had told people what he saw, the police would have picked Craig up immediately and there would have been no danger. Larry didn't think that far ahead and could only see Craig's implied threats. So he lived in terror until there was no other choice but to speak up. Mentor got hurt this episode. His head was bleeding. The good guys don't always breeze right through the story. Sometimes they even get injured. We aren't afraid to go there. And the first time I watched this, I was genuinely concerned when Craig got out of his car and started toward Larry on his bike. I had no problem believing that this show would allow him to inflict harm on Larry since he'd already drawn blood on Mentor. I'm glad we didn't do that, but it's not beyond belief that they might do it. The stories are stripped down to their bare bones since they're for kids, but again, we're not talking down to the kids. We're talking at their level, and at that level, we're not sugarcoating anything. People don't always come around. Witness Nick in episode 3. People make bad choices that can affect the rest of their lives. Witness Mark in episodes 4 and 5. And so on. But those things aren't put before us as the lessons. Those things just are. The lessons are about dealing with and working around all that to be the best you can be for yourself and others. I've only gotten a couple of responses so far, so I'll ask the question again. Did these things influence you? Do you think or act differently after watching a show like this? And if so, did you do it deliberately or was it something that just happened over time? Again, no details needed, just a basic yes or no. I'm really curious, and I have nothing else to do but pry into your life, so let's have it. I'll see you next time on Captain Marvel.